morning. Welcome to the Daily Echo. It is Tuesday, February 10th, 4 days away from Emily and Ryan's wedding. I know they're getting excited. We're excited for their wedding. We're excited for Landon and Karina and our little Linnea to come down, but that's not my topic today. My topic today can save many of you some time that maybe will lead to medical assistance later in your life and a heck of a lot of heartache or less heartache. Probably get rid of some of those heartburn pills you're taking too. What does it mean when we say 10 minutes equals 10 hours? What we're talking about here is our thought process. And if you're human, it means you're watching this, I'm sure there's been a time in your life, if not many times in your life, where your brain starts to go off on its own tangent. Maybe something happens, maybe a negative thought occurs, and you think, well, what if this happens? And then you start to play that film and you make it worse and worse and worse. It's called catastrophic thinking. Sometimes people will just worry about the IRS sending them a letter and they have no reason to worry. But they'll spend day after day, sometimes week after week, looking for that IRS letter in the mail because they were watching the news the other day and heard the horror story of this. Or they saw a commercial that says the IRS auditing you. Do you owe $20,000, $50,000, whatever it may be. That's why I'm really negative upon TV in general, and particularly news and negative programming, because those thoughts go into our mind and we see that. That's where we get the premise to think about that thought. But just so you understand, when we spend 10 minutes in that catastrophic thinking, the what ifs, if you've ever had a child, a teenager that doesn't come back in time and you can't get a hold of them, where does your mind go? I mean, within 5 to 10 minutes, they've already had a car accident, they've already rolled over, they're already in the hospital, and if you even stretch it further, what are we going to do now that my child has been killed in a car accident? When they left their phone in the car and they get home 5 minutes later and nothing happened. The brain can become very creative, and many times when it becomes creative very negatively, the hormones that are released, scientific data has shown us that in 10 minutes, it takes your body 10 hours to recover from the negative hormonal release of that. So the important part of this echo today is if you're the type of person that Sunday night or Monday morning, you get so anxiety ridden about work coming up either that day or the next day, and you start to go through this poor me syndrome and do all of these things, you're killing yourself. You're literally killing yourself. There's a reason that heart attacks occur most commonly around 9 o'clock Monday morning. Mentally, when we go into these states of catastrophe thinking, we are physiologically hurting ourselves. And we don't really know. It's hard to understand scientific data, or it's hard to even put data on it on how many years are lost, how many heart attacks occur because of this. People have literally worried themselves to death. And now that we know by looking at blood samples of people, we also know that when a person listens to motivational recordings like Zig, Ed Foreman, Tony Robbins, all of these motivational people, that after 2 to 4 hours of this, blood work before and blood work after, an incredible rise in the good hormones. And that's why we continually talk about Automobile University. We continually talk about putting the good stuff in and quit putting the bad stuff in. You couldn't think about the bad stuff if you didn't get it from somewhere. Final thought, it reminds me of a story. In a few of the Indian tribes, they found a very key common denominator. They didn't find any children that stuttered. And this blew them away. They couldn't figure it out. In every civilization that they had seen children that stuttered. But in the tribes, they did not see anybody that stuttered, none of these children. Well, it comes to find out that they did not have a word in their language that was stutter, that meant stutter. So if you don't have a language, if you don't have a word for it, you can't do it. And it teaches us a whole lot about things. If you don't have those negative thoughts in your mind from something, you don't catastrophize as much. So a lot of the negative stuff that we think about, and we go into these states of awareness and states of fantasy and states of confusion that really get us on edge. It's because of the thoughts that you willingly or I willingly put in my mind. So it should teach us a great lesson. 10 minutes equals 10 hours. The next time you start for 30 seconds, you need to put a big stop sign in your mind, stop and detour and move somewhere else because you're affecting yourself for the next 10 hours. Don't do it. Stay happy, stay positive, listen to good stuff. Have a great day. Enjoy Terrific Tuesday. We'll be coming at you again tomorrow on Wonderful Wednesday. We're still coming at the book of the month sometime. I'm still waiting for the video from the author. Thanks. Have a great day.